It is with great pleasure to be in front of you right now to introduce such a dynamic leader. Our next guest is a woman in the labor movement who has worked her way up through the IBEW and the AFL-CIO. She became an organizer, then a lobbyist fighting for Oregon labor. Her talents were used to educate about organizing and what it means to be a good union member. It wasn't long before someone noticed her girl power and appointed her to the IBEW International Office in Washington, D.C. Not long after that, she was appointed to the executive assistant of the international president, where she served in that capacity for 5 years. In 2009, the president of the AFL-CIO asked her to join him as a running mate for one of the top leadership positions available. When she won that election, she became the first woman and the youngest person to hold that position, as well as the highest-ranking woman in the AFL-CIO's history. Personally, as a fellow Oregon native and my union sister, she inspires me to greatness. Last month, I got to walk her in to the IBEW Women's Conference. This month, I get to introduce her, so it's definitely an honor. Ladies, siblings, and allies, please help me welcome the president of the AFL-CIO, Ms. Liz Shuler.
Good morning! And for the Canadians in the room, bonjour. Kanitha, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. And I just have to say, what an honor to be in front of you. I'm kind of emotional. It kind of hit me by surprise. Thank you. So, the AFL-CIO. What's that, you ask? I say this, I never take it for granted anymore, because I was at a reception the other night and someone said, oh, that thing with the duck, Aflac. I was like, no. So the AFL-CIO, we are a federation of all different unions, 58 unions who represent workers in every industry, right? From actors to football players to construction workers to teachers and bus drivers and everything in between. So think of your union, and then now think of all the unions together and how powerful we can be for working people. That's the AFL-CIO. And I am absolutely thrilled to be here because this is my kind of crowd, a room full of thousands of tradeswomen. Wow. What a beautiful sight. like Vicky, I'm just taking it in, right? I've been going to this conference for, I think, more than a decade that I remember. And I remember when it was a few hundred women in California, all right? And then it moved to Chicago, and the numbers just kept growing and growing. And now we're over 3,000 tradeswomen from all over the United States and Canada. Unbelievable. And I want to thank Kenitha, my IBEW sister from Oregon. Let's give her another round of applause, please. A mother of 5, making it happen in the trades. Unbelievable. And the group of women who brought me to the stage from my home state and places all around the world. What an honor. And I just think about this is what our movement is all about. And I'm thinking of all the leaders in this room, all the people who made this happen, because it doesn't just happen, right? My sister and longtime friend, Vicky O'Leary, iron worker, sister, amazing trades. And I want to thank the Tradeswomen Committee, actually, of NABTU as a whole. And Erica, I mean, the amount of energy and effort that goes into planning this conference, we just had our national convention, the AFL-CIO, and this conference is bigger than our national convention. So I'm just in awe. And of course, our NABTU leaders, President Sean McGarvey, Secretary Treasurer Brent Booker, who I saw in the back playing the low profile. Sean McGarvey is a leader with vision, and he is someone who is probably one of the most focused people that I know. And he will stand up for what's right every time when it comes to construction workers. He never forgets where he's come from and brings that voice into every room. And I wanted to say also of Brent Booker, who is an honorary tradeswoman, I think, because he has been supporting our tradeswomen day in and day out, and especially in places where we don't often have those voices in the room. He's lifting up our women leaders and so much more. So I just want to say thank you and to recognize that leadership because they've prioritized bringing more women in. And that solidarity is so incredibly powerful. I see, I wanted to make one mention. We've been talking about equal pay. And I think about solidarity, making it real, and what that looks like. And equal pay, we talk about it, women and men make the same wage because of our union contracts in most of our industries. But I was thinking about the women's soccer players, and you probably have watched them, right, as they were fighting for equal pay. That's right. I'm a Portland Thorns fan. That's right. And the national women's soccer players finally got equal pay. And you probably saw the announcement. But what most people don't know is it was because they have a union and they bargained for it. And now they're part of the AFL-CIO. We just brought them in. So they're a part of our labor movement. And I said, we got to bring tradeswomen and soccer players together because we're all fighting for the same things. And anyone who stayed up late last night watching the baseball game. Any Astros fans or Phillies fans in here? All right. Well, another piece of good news, the Major League Baseball Players Association is now a part of the AFL-CIO and a part of our movement. That's because they're workers too. And this is about workers standing up and having each other's backs. And you know who else has our back that you've heard from this morning is the Biden administration, the most pro-union president and vice president in our lifetimes, in history. And I just wanted to acknowledge, because I know we've heard from a few of our cabinet officials this morning, and we've got a number of folks in the room with us today to show that support. I want to thank them for being here, because as Sean always says, you can't know until you've been here. And that's why I brought over a dozen AFL-CIO national staff with me to this conference, because they need to experience it and be your voice and carry your message. And I know we've worked together to pass legislation and create hundreds of thousands of good union jobs, and you heard about that from Marty and from Gina and Sean this morning. There are many, many more women ready to take on those jobs, and we're just gonna go up from here. So that's all. I'm just so happy. I'm so excited. And when I look out into this crowd, I see the women who bring power and electricity to our communities. I see women who build ships and bridges. I see women who turn metal and bricks and paint and pipes and glass into schools and stores and offices and so much more. Women who build our skylines in our nations. Women like Kanitha. Women like Linda Hamilton. I'm gonna give Linda a shout out, because when Linda, I know she's here, I don't know if she's in the room right now, but when she was an apprentice with the operating engineers, Local 132 in West Virginia in the 90s, she was one of the only women in her class. They were totally outnumbered. I'm sure many of you know what it's like. But she stuck with it. And she went on to become the first woman dispatcher at her local union. And then she kept going. She's serving as the international union representative for operating engineers at the NAB2 Women's Trades Committee, right? So now she has made it her goal to help other women get into the trades, because she knows that these are life-changing careers, that everyone has a story like that. Every one of us shows incredible leadership and perseverance every single day. And I know how exhausting it can be. I know how frustrating it can be. And so what I want to say, and the reason I wanted to be here, is just remember, you're not alone. We are in this together. And I know, we all know what it's taken for you to get where you are. Raising children, being one of the only women on the job site like Linda, or dealing with the daily injustices of racism, homophobia, or transphobia. We've broken through so many barriers, and we're continuing the fight because we know that our struggles create pathways for other women to follow. And look how far we've come. Look, we've got new child care pilot programs. We've got maternity leave programs. We've got lean-in circles. We've got all kinds of tools to help us navigate on-the-job issues, right? And I think about what it takes to start stepping out and stepping out of your comfort zone. And I just wanted to share a quick story, because I get to travel the country and meet and talk with workers in all kinds of industries. And I was meeting earlier in New Jersey this year with young workers who were organizing at Starbucks and in the cannabis industry. Anybody know a little something about the cannabis industry? No, I'm just kidding. We don't do, no. All right, I am from Oregon. So after our meeting, so we had this press conference after the meeting, and the governor was there of New Jersey, our labor leaders, I was standing on the podium. There were workers that actually spoke to the press. And then we opened it up for questions from the press. So we're like, any questions? And we heard someone say, yeah, I have a question. And it wasn't a reporter, it was one of the workers on the stage. And, we're like, oh, sure, okay, come on up to, ask your question. And it was a little surprising because, of course, that was not what we were expecting. But, of course, we gave her the mic. And she started asking about why the cannabis industry was using non-compete agreements and talking about how they drive down wages and they limit opportunities for folks who develop expertise and they want to ladder up in their careers and they want to take that knowledge and they want to transfer it to other places in the industry, and they can't because they have these non-compete agreements. And so we're all standing there going, good point. Yeah, thank you for raising that. But I'm sure she raised a few eyebrows with her straight talk, but she saw a moment and she grabbed it. And she asked a bold question. And she knew that if she didn't, no one else would. And I tell you that story because she did exactly what all of us should be doing, right? And I know it's not easy. It's not easy to step out of your comfort zone, not easy to take those risks. And believe me, I know. I was the most risk-averse person on the planet before I got into union leadership. And I got my start working in the payroll department at a little electric utility company in my hometown of Portland, Oregon. My mom worked there, my dad worked there. That's right. And I had a front row seat to the clerical workers' need for a union because we were afraid to speak out. Even if something was going wrong, we were being harassed. We didn't say anything because we didn't want to lose our jobs. We weren't in a union. But my dad, who was a power lineman, also worked at the company, he could speak out because he was in a union. He had the pay, the benefits, the security that came with a union. So when the IBEW said, hey, we should go wall to wall at this utility company. Let's organize those clerical workers. You know who jumped in? I jumped in. I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to organize. And listen, I was a behind-the-scenes person, if you know what I mean. I wasn't about to be taking the mic and, making speeches. I just was doing the work behind the scene. So it pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I found my voice. It changed the trajectory of my life. And I started organizing with IBEW Local 125, and I never looked back. So this is our moment. This is our moment for all of us to take risks. And it's what tradeswomen have done throughout their careers, throughout history, and at this conference. 10 years ago, we were in a room half this size. And now look at us. And as Sean said this morning, look who's here. We got the U.S. Secretary of Labor here. We got the Secretary of Commerce here. We got the Women's Bureau. We've got OSHA, as Marty was saying. We've got, Wendy Chun-Hun here. It's incredible. Jenny Yang. So what I'm trying to say is, y'all are badasses now, right? Everyone wants to be here. And everyone wants to be here because they know that how we really grow an economy is by empowering the women to make it happen and get into places that we've never been before. And there are so many opportunities in front of us, folks. I mean, it is amazing. And we need to make the most of these opportunities. And we're seeing this all across the country with working people rising up, forming unions in all kinds of different jobs. The organizing, as Marty said, I think Marty said, we haven't been this popular. Unions have a 71% approval rating in this country. No one else has that. And working people are stepping up, and we're finding our voice, and we're finding our power. And with all these investments in construction, like the infrastructure bill, right? Building everything from water systems to highways to broadband and, on and on. Semiconductor fabs that will be built because of the CHIPS bill. The clean energy jobs that will be created because of Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, right? We have to make sure, as you've been hearing all morning, that tradeswomen and workers of color are at the center of those opportunities. And you're leading the way. You're leading the way. And in all kinds of leadership. Because as I said, leadership is, yes, at the front or at the podium or at the mic, in front of a camera, but it's also the quiet acts of leadership that matter. They're just as powerful. Being a mentor, taking someone from the next generation under your wing and say, come on. Starting a conversation with the women at the job about what could be better, what you could change together. So think about those leadership opportunities, big and small. And I couldn't leave here without talking a little bit about this election we're right in the middle of, folks. We got 11 days. We're 11 days out from a hugely important election. And women who already have made the difference, right, in primary elections, women are going to make the difference in this election. Why? Because we show up. We do the work. But how about taking it to the next level? So instead of showing up and making the phone calls at the phone bank, how about leading the phone bank? Instead of showing up and doing those door knocks, how about leading a canvas of all those door knockers? What about organizing an event for women in your local to engage in the campaign together, right? Have a special night where all of you get together and do a phone bank. Organize it. So those are great ways to build your leadership skills and get more involved in the broader labor movement. State federations and central labor councils of the AFL-CIO, great pathways for leadership to get involved, because now is the time. Now is the time. Now, we still have a lot of members out there, folks, who have not decided yet how they're going to vote. So when we leave this conference, I never leave a room without an ask. So you ready? Everyone here commit to talking to at least 10 people when you go home about this election. You're getting your own vote out there, but you're getting 10 more people to vote. Can you do it? Can you do it? Talk to the people that are closest to you about the stakes in this election. Connect all of those big wins we've been hearing about, all these investments, to the pro-worker majority we've had in Congress, right? Because those didn't just happen. It was because we made it happen in the last election. And show that votes matter, elections matter. And our votes on November 8th, they're going to decide whether we have people elected to office who are going to fight for union construction jobs, who are going to protect Davis-Bacon, who are going to protect project labor agreements. That all gets decided in this election, folks. We cannot go backwards. We have to keep moving forward because there is so much at stake. And I would argue our basic freedoms are on the line because they're under attack. The freedom to organize a union, under attack. The freedom to earn a fair wage, under attack. Our access to reproductive health care and control of our own bodies, under attack. The basic freedom to vote, under attack. So I'm going to say it pretty plainly. Our opponents know how powerful we are when we come together. They know what strong women can achieve when we are united, and they don't like it. So that's why they're trying so hard to roll back the progress we've made. So let's show them that they have no idea what we're capable of. They have no idea how much fight we have in us. So when we leave here, we got to find every last vote we can find. We got to find every new person we can bring into our movement. We've got to build on our progress. And tradeswomen show that we aren't just building nations, we are building the future. Thank you so much.